But I've always drawn, always painted, always sculpted, always played around with a visual. And they call it ADD these days, but back then it was called, you know, shut up and get back to work, and a smack around the back of the head. First tattoo I ever applied was also on me, and that sadly is being lost from the apprenticeship process, because tattoo apprenticeships now are nothing like they used to be. I think I pretty much had the last of the traditional apprenticeships, and even then it was short, and that was just under 2 years. And you get to a stage where they hand you a bag with bits in and says there's a machine in there, put it together and tattoo yourself. And you've got 2 hours.
There you go. Paul. Hey, Paul.
And I chose a Celtic dragon that was in my sketchbook and put it on my right thigh because it's an easy place to reach. And 2 hours later they came back and opened the curtains and looked at me and said, okay, you start on Saturday.
Yeah, finally. I think by August we need to have this.
I cover more styles and more techniques. Machines, by hand, 3 or 4 different hand tattooing techniques. There are very few tattooists in this country that do that. The market, the consumer base, is not well educated. They also want to be in on the scene. They also want to be tatted up. You know, tatting is lace making. Tattooing is totally different.
Well, Paul, one of his clients that has an entire bodysuit done, he had spoken to me. I think we first met online on Facebook or something, and I'd asked him who had done his work, and then he mentioned Paul. Phil is his name. He showed Paul my portfolio, and I think Paul offered me a job the same day.
If you have a shred of humanity in you, if you have any kind of concept as to what a responsibility this is human skin. It's not canvas, it's not wood, it's not paper. It's a living, breathing, talking, walking, critiquing vessel that carries your work. So you need to respect that. You need to understand that this is another human being.
To me as an artist, I'm a filmmaker, so everything I do, I love details, and I love to. It's just the whole art behind it. Anyway, I wanted something to be on me at all times, you know, just to represent my artistic side.
And is there any interesting quirk about him that you've noticed?
Oh, he's silly. Yeah, he's funny. He's pretty eccentric.
I have a bachelor's in fashion design. I'm a dressmaker. And I didn't go into the garment industry because in the mid to late 80s it was just crowded. Going through all the careers I've had, they peak at a specific sense. I left art school and actually sang in a pre-grunge band. Before it was grunge, we were there. And then I trained as a sound engineer. Yeah. And that got old, so I had my rock star moment. And my tolerance for substances was pretty high at that point, so I thought, you know, I'll go into the restaurant business. My mother was a chef, so I learned a lot about food. Then when I started working, there was a guy called Marcus, Mark Greenberg, sat next to me on the counter, worked next to me. In the 6 months that I worked with him, he taught me more than the 2 years apprenticeship. And it wasn't about the artwork, and it wasn't about the machines. It was about respect for business, respect for your clients. I think that's the most valuable. So thank you, Marcus. So it wasn't, the most important lesson wasn't about tattooing. The most important lesson was about being a human being, which ironically, you know, I found out through tattooing, which is really weird. If I had to make a choice, I would just abandon everything and walk away. That I can do.
Why is that?
Because it's easy to make a fresh start. To reinvent yourself. Which is what I do. I've done it frequently, every year or so. So you know when I say I have little experience, it's 15 years and tens of thousands of tattoos later. That's nothing. I'm still green. I'm still learning.